Hello everyone, welcome to the Sunday Guardian show by Joyita Basu. Today I have with me my colleague R. Jaiprakash, and we are going to discuss a bit about the Gujarat elections, the dates of which have been announced. The voting will take place on 1st December and 5th December, and the results will be coming out on 8th of December along with the results of Himachal Pradesh. Now, this is a very significant election, given specifically seen in the background of 2017. This will be when there was immense anti-incumbency about the BJP government over there. In spite of that, primarily because of Mr. Modi's presence in that election, BJP basically managed to pull it off. But what will happen this time? Now, JP, you want to say something?
Well, yes, I mean 25 years of BJP rule and battling anti-incumbency for 2.5 decades is a huge task. This time, how is it all playing out? You had this Morbi incident just right before the elections were announced. We have seen how the opposition has been attacking the Modi government, saying that the elections to Himachal was announced first, the Gujarat was delayed because Modi had a series of events. He had his defense expo, he had a lot of projects to be inaugurated, and that is why the dates got delayed. So the politics is already in play, and 25 years of anti-incumbency. What are the main factors this time in these elections, Joyita?
Well, obviously, anti-incumbency, when it comes to that, I mean, that is the primary #1 factor in terms of the ruling, the way they are ruling. And there are problems like, say, agrarian problems are there. Urban areas have major problems. Morbi, whether it actually translates into an issue or not, we will know only on result day. But if you ask me, I'm not so certain about the kind of effect that Morbi will be having, because if you when you look at India's electoral history, think of the, say, for example, 2008 the Mumbai attacks that happened in 26/11. In spite of that, the UPA romped to victory. And even though the fact was that Shivraj Patil and all, they were seen to be extremely incompetent. So I am not very certain. I know it sounds terribly callous about how exactly the electorate thinks or not, but perhaps issues of roti kapra makan matter to them more.
I've seen one factor, Joyita. When you talk about UP elections or you talk about Karnataka elections, polarization and then Hindutva. But when you talk about Gujarat, it's always been development. We have seen a lot of testimonials and people, vox pops I was watching on the TV, where people are saying that what was there in Gujarat 25 years ago, whatever we are seeing, infrastructure, roads being put in place, hospitals and educational institutions, everything has come during the Modi era. Even though it's been second term for Modi as a Prime Minister in the center, at the state level, they are continuing to support the BJP government, saying that Gussa hai lekin gaddar nahi hai. This is one of the lines that I was watching. And also, we have seen how major project, Tata's manufacturing along with Boeing, your transport aircraft carrier, that project was foundation was laid for that. Many projects are coming up in Gujarat. So is the development the only mantra which is which is helping BJP romp home with major victories?
Well, if you look at Gujarat, what has been happening pre-Modi, I would say, late 90s and just before Modi became Chief Minister over there, caste used to play a major factor over there. There is something that Congress had started using called kham, Kshatriya, Harijan and stuff like that. They had these Muslims and all. So they had this, they were totally banking on this. But as it happens with Mr. Modi, we have seen it, he has tried to do even in, say, maybe places like UP and all. He is already always moving towards what we can call post-caste election, where you raise yourself above caste, your caste identity, and you start voting according to basically from identity politics to development politics. Now, he was very successful in implementing that in Gujarat, and that legacy has continued, even though he is now Prime Prime Minister, and 8 years he is at the center. He is no longer, he is no longer hands-on with Gujarat. But at the same time, you see, in spite of that, if I look back at 2017 elections, I was there at that. I had gone there, in fact, to Gujarat at that time, and I remember the kind of anti-incumbency I had seen there at that time. And this was the height of the Patidar agitation. You see, Patidar agitation, there were these, Hardik Patel was leading it, and the youngsters were kind of flocking to him. There was Alpesh Thakur was there, and he was attracting crowds. I mean, lakhs of people were attending his rallies. Now, that was an extremely tough election. So here I'm talking in terms of the Modi factor when I'm talking about it, and how important it is in Gujarat. So the buzz everywhere was that it's going to be a 50-50 election, and there was even a possibility that the Congress may be able to defeat the BJP. But what happened was that towards the end of the election, as elections approached, Mr. Modi went and kind of parked himself over there, and as a result of which, in I think the last few days, he just swung the election in BJP's favor. In spite of that, the BJP did not reach 100 seats. It stopped at 99. So I think in this case also, if you have noticed, Mr. Modi is regularly going to Gujarat. Okay, and that is bound to have an impact, because he is a man who is who is basically development personified.
Swing votes is all that matters, and this time around we have seen some lot of right noises being raised by Aam Aadmi Party. There are there's talks also that Aam Aadmi Party will become the principal opposition. Some are saying it's a three-way fight. Some are saying the Congress is silently working at the ground level. Anything is a possibility, and do not be surprised if it turns out to be a three-way elections. Well, no one will get a mandate. What is your pulse on the ground?
You see, when you are looking at a three-way election, Aam Aadmi Party, even though it has some sort of I would say it has some presence in some urban pockets and primarily in areas like Surat and all, but as it has been happening in states where Aam Aadmi Party is in fight with the BJP, I suspect it's the same case here. It's going to be about more noise than substance. I think that is the feeling that I have. But the thing is, you see, in spite of everything, I would say even for that matter for Himachal Pradesh and Gujarat both, it's primarily a fight between BJP and Congress. But you see, what the AAP can do here is that instead of making the fight three-way, it is likely to cut into votes. I think in this case, AAP also, for AAP as well, it is a matter of percentage of, how much percentage it gets.
So anti-BJP votes might get split between the Congress, and which will indirectly help the BJP.
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly the point. You see, when you look back at 2017 election results, what was happening at that time, even in an urban center like Ahmedabad or just in the surrounding areas and all, the margins of BJP's victory were very small. Sometimes some of the seats BJP had won even with maybe 300 votes, 315. One of their ministers I remember had won with around 315 votes. So what happens if some of that vote is kind of taken away by the AAP? So obviously it indirectly helps the BJP.
Okay. Another factor which I wanted to ask you was, we have seen how three chief ministers have changed in the last 6 years. And there are some urban thinkers who say that this is an arrogant BJP. These are proxies for the number 2 and number 1 at the center, and they are just puppets at the hands of Modi and Shah. And we need local leadership who will have to spend all their time and their enigma addressing the issues of the Gujarat government. How do we tackle this demonizing allegations by the opposition?
Well, I'll tell you something very interesting here that I observed the last time as well. If you look at the heart of the Patidar agitation in 2017, what was happening over there, Anandiben Patel was a huge factor. It was not about Narendra Modi, it was not so much about Amit Shah, it was primarily about Anandiben Patel, who was removed from Chief Minister's seat and someone else was brought in, and that was that really went against the BJP. And if you look at what is the setup in Gujarat right now, the current Chief Minister has the blessings of Anandiben Patel. So that is one factor. The BJP, you know, which whoever kind of, I mean, there is a lot of factionalism, like any other party it happens. There is a lot of factionalism in BJP as well. So, but I mean, I would say, you know, by bringing Anandiben, a man who has the blessings of Anandiben Patel, in fact, I think he was one of her aides also at one point of time. So what the BJP has done, BJP has very cleverly taken care of the Patidar anger and the Patidar. So you see, they have already taken care of someone like Hardik Patel. Hardik Patel is with BJP. Alpesh Thakur is with BJP. All of them were leading major agitation. So, and when it comes to the Patidar community, they may not be numerically, may not be, you know, the OBCs have a larger percentage, but these are the people, Patidars, they can influence a lot of votes. So that is why they matter a lot.
Okay, well, while we come to the end of the conversation, one thing I want to ask you, when you talk about brass tacks, what are the top 3 issues that are going to dominate as the talking points of these elections when you come to issues related to Gujarat?
Well, are you talking about the media or are we talking about the people?
Media is always converse. I'm talking about the people's issues that BJP should be looking into. The 3 major concerns for the BJP as far as the voter is concerned.
Well, I think ultimately everything boils down to local governance. You know, I mean, however much development the Prime Minister may be bringing to the a state, and however much, whatever be it, ultimately it boils down to the local governance, whether your roads are okay or not, and there are problems. That is why I'm saying there's a lot of problem. I mean, whether your municipality is working properly or not, the reason why, say, Morbi can become an issue, because it is ultimately the failure at the municipal level also that has happened, that has taken place. So that is always an issue. Obviously, agrarian distress, and you see, joblessness also. If you look at the COVID period, you know, there has been a lot of joblessness, obviously. You know, I mean, factories were shut, and we all know how the world economy has been impacted, and our economy also has been impacted. So it is very important, and obviously, these are the negatives. The positives are obviously bringing in, actually if you are looking at the positives, there are 2 things. Number one is that, you know, the development that is being brought to Gujarat, you know, and number 2, I would say, who is going to be in power, who is likely to come to power in 2024, because people do not want to waste their vote and bring in a party who will likely not come to power
and also hamper the growth of Gujarat.
Yes.
The fund flowing and everything is very, very important.
I think that is what is going to be, because when you look at it, it's ultimately a state which understands business very well. That is why Kejriwal is not having much resonance over there, because he's talking primarily about freebies. Okay, so that is a problem for Kejriwal. So ultimately, development, who stays at the center, and local issues. I think these are the 3 things that are going to be the decisive factor in which way the election goes. How Congress performs, we don't know, because Congress, as we see, we are getting some sort of an indication that Congress may have given up on the state from the fact that Rahul Gandhi is not even going to that state, which is sending out a very wrong message.
Gujarat, isn't it? Very interesting, because this is the state from where the number 1, number 2 of the country, both Modi and Amit Shah, come. So obviously every small issue gets amplified, and there is so much of scrutiny by the media, there is so much of scrutiny by the opposition, that they will not waste a chance to in fact throw them under the bus. And that's why Gujarat becomes a very, very important elections, not only from the point of view of coming back to power and defeating the anti-incumbency factor, and also to set the stage for 2024 assembly general elections.
Yes, and all the more reason why the BJP has to win it, because if BJP loses this state, it sends out a terrible message ahead of the 2024 election results. Thank you JP for appearing here, and thank you viewers for watching. Until the next time.